Hey, Refuel, it's Pastor Ray. It's Wednesday morning. We are in the midst of 5 sources of encouragement and strength. And there's things that will strengthen you, but also things that as they strengthen you will actually strengthen others. And doesn't our country need strength right now? This weekend, we showed a video that said such high impact. We have gotten feedback 24/7 on this in positive ways. Matter of fact, everybody has wanted a copy. Everybody's wanted to see it. And so we thought we'd pass that along to you. And to introduce it, one of the things that gives people strength and strengthens the society is when people believe they have a future and when people treat each other well. And 1 Thessalonians says this, man, number one, you need a source of strength, revelation. You have God's truth. That gives you a solid foundation. And in that foundation, you discover that relatives, you are part of the family of God, which means every single person is created by God and valuable in the sight of God, which means every person is to be treated with respect. When the election happened and our country blew apart, which is continuing to happen, a lot of people had immature responses. And some people had very mature responses. My favorite political commentators are these 4 guys. There you go. All right. You got Charles Barkley, Kenny the Jet Smith. You got Ernie Johnson, who moderates it. And on the far right side, you got the huge guy, Shaq. And it was very, very touching. Ernie spoke last. The first 3 guys that spoke all said, we were disappointed by the election, but we want a peaceful transition of power. It's a hallmark of our country. You got to give this guy a chance. And then what Ernie Johnson said was so mature and so strengthening and so good. We showed it to 18,000 people this weekend, and now we want to pass it along to you. Feel free to pass this along to everybody you know. Check this out.
When this campaign season started, I felt like I'd been dealt a bad hand. I had these couple of choices. And there were trust issues with Hillary Clinton I couldn't get past. And there was this inflammatory rhetoric from Donald Trump, which to me was incomprehensible and indefensible. I couldn't vote for either one. For the first time in going to the polls for 42 years, I hit the write-in button. And I voted for John Kasich. And I left knowing that John Kasich wasn't going to win. But I left with a clear conscience because I hadn't settled. Number 2, I'm hopeful. I watched the video today at CNN on what was going on at the White House with Donald Trump, President Obama. I was hopeful and I was encouraged that there will be a difference between the President Trump and the campaigning Trump. And I'm with these guys. We have to give him a chance. But here's the deal. I just hope that he's all in fixing the wounds in this country and the divides that separate this country. And I want to be part of that too. And for me to be part of it, I have to look in the mirror and I have to say, how am I going to be a better man? How am I going to be a better neighbor? How am I going to be a better citizen? How am I going to be a better American? How can I be a fountain and not a drain? And number 3, I know you're not supposed to talk about politics and religion, but we're already talking about politics, and so I'm going to go the R direction too. I never know from one election to the next who's going to be in the Oval Office, but I always know who's on the throne. And I'm on this earth because God created me, and that's who I answer to. I'm a Christian. I follow this guy named Jesus. You might have heard of him. And the greatest commandment he gave me was to love others. And Scripture also tells us to pray for our leaders. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pray for Donald Trump. I'm going to pray for all those people right now who feel like they're on the outside looking in, who are afraid at this point. Pray for them too. In short, I'm praying for America.